Hello. For anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Chris and I'm currently doing a solo sailing trip from the UK to Belgium. It's my first experience in solo sailing, so it's quite a challenge. I could be in danger tonight unless I do something. So I'm going to show you where I am, what the danger is and how I'm going to eliminate that risk. So I've just arrived at my next anchorage, which is a place called Hearty Ferry, and I'm going to be here overnight. I may actually be here for some days, it depends on the weather because it's October and it's very breezy at the moment. I did a night sail the other night in 28 knots and it was a little bit exciting, shall we say. So I'm taking things easy now. I've learnt my lesson and I'm going to be much more cautious. Anyway, so the problem that I've got is that this is the swale, and over in the distance there, you can't really see it, there are lots of industrial areas and there are quite large ships which pass through here. In the summer, this is a popular anchorage, so the ships are no doubt on the lookout for leisure boaters who are anchored. There are some moorings over there, so they'll be aware of those, and there are some moorings on that side too. But a lot of the time, especially in this kind of off season, I'm sure the guys on the bridges of the ships aren't expecting to find a vessel anchored here. I am of course going to have my anchor light on, but that's way up there, so if they're not looking up there they might not see it. I'm going to put my deck light on. That's a halogen light just up there, which will illuminate my deck, so hopefully that will help a little bit. I've got a radar reflector, which is one of these. We bought this just basically to fulfill the legal requirement to have a radar reflector when we bought the boat. It was cheap and, you know, it was just a quick thing, right, let's get that up there and then that's us sorted. But if you look into the tests of radar reflectors, that kind of radar reflector is pretty much invisible. I believe one magazine stated that it was a useful addition to a stealth bomber. So that's not really going to help me here. When the ships are passing with their radar on, they probably wouldn't even get a hit from that, especially as it's angled the way it is. That's not the perfect way of having it angled either, so really that's not good. But I do have a solution and it's in the boat. I'm going to show you it now. Here we go. It's a Ecomax EM230 radar reflector. This is a really effective radar reflector. There are various different sailing publications who have tested different models against each other and the performance of this is absolutely superb. So it can be mast mounted, but the guy who invented this, Mr. John Firth, I believe his name was, did not recommend that any radar reflector be fitted to a mast because you get a shadow where it's not visible for about 22 degrees, 22, 23 degrees. If somebody's painting your boat with radar from behind, if the radar reflector gets shielded by your mast, and it kind of doesn't really work for that sector. So Mr. Firth recommended that it be hung from a spreader, so that's what I'm about to do now. There we go then, that took me literally a couple of minutes and now I know for sure that I'm going to be picked up on the radar of any ships that are passing through this channel. It's actually quite surprising how large the vessels are that pass through here. There are aggregate transporters, so they're really big ships, and despite the fact that this channel gets very, very shallow a little bit further down that way, which you'll see if you watch my videos, so I've just been through there today. It got quite shallow at a certain point. We were on a low tide. Yeah, you do get really big vessels coming through here, so when I'm asleep at night I want to be sleeping, not lying with one eye awake worrying about some ship running me down in the middle of the night. I must point out this isn't the final installation. I've just got that line on the spreader there. I've just used that temporarily. I will be doing a more professional installation of this. I bought some Dyneema, I'm going to be splicing that and putting it up there in a much better way. Using this method of hanging the radar reflector from the spreader, you can also change its position. So if you're on one tack, you can alter it and alter it again on the other tack, and that maintains it in a more upright position. So if you're crossing the channel, for example, you're on one tack for a long time, you can do that, and then that will make sure you give the best possible return. Ecomax sell electronic radar reflectors. I believe it's called a radar enhancer, don't quote me on that, but that's a really intelligent product. If you're going to cross an ocean, for example, that's superb. It has an alarm on it, it consumes very little power, but it's an electronic device which receives radar signals. When it detects that there's a radar signal painting the vessel, it then transmits, and that gives a massive return for a very long distance. And it also sets off an alarm. If you want it to, it can alarm inside your boat and wake you up and tell you that there's a vessel in the area. So that's another really valid option. It's more expensive than this, and I didn't have time to even install it, even if we did have one, because I'm in a rush to get to the continent. So this is a perfect quick solution for my needs, and now I can be confident when I'm crossing the channel that I'm going to be seen by the hundreds of ships that are going to be out there. Over on the moorings over there are some boats with radar reflectors fitted, so let's go and have a look at our radar and see what they look like on a screen.
Smart Boater decided to test the effectiveness of a radar reflector even when placed low to the water, in our case less than a meter, to see if it would present a signature on radar. Our test subject was a kayak, paddling under good conditions and within a range that might present a risk of collision. To begin the test, our kayaker paddled without a radar reflector on board. As expected, the powerboat's radar failed to pick up the kayak at a distance of up to several hundred meters. We attached a radar reflector to the deck of the kayak, low to the water, well below the recommended height of at least 4 meters. Once again, our kayaker paddled out a short distance and this time was immediately visible on the radar screen. Our test demonstrated that even when positioned a short distance off the water on a small craft, a radar reflector can be effective, proving that it's better to have one than not when operating where radar is in use.
So don't take my word for this, do your own research, go online, have a look at the results of the tests of these kind of radar reflectors, and then if you're interested, go on the Ecomax website, you can order them there, or I believe they sell them in lots of chandlers too, so that's another option. There is a front on the way, so I'm going to go and get a cup of tea and some food and do my passage plan for tomorrow and the following days. Check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/sailingbritally, and subscribe if you enjoy videos like this and the other videos that you see there, and we'll see you again soon. By the way, my Italian wife and our Britalian daughter are far better looking than me, so come and check out the videos for them too. Okay, thanks for watching, see you soon, ciao!